follow-up to my Agents of Dune box set unboxing that I did a while back. This is the Dune, Masters of Dune campaign book, which follows on from that set. So this is a campaign book. So it's still sealed in plastic. I bought this ages ago and have not opened it yet because I wanted to do an unboxing for it. And this continues on from the story and the previous 3 adventures are in the starter set. I actually bought this before I got the starter set and then decided to buy the starter set because I got a cheap code, which got me 50% off. Anyway, but this book I got when it was a sale on at Modifius, and so I only ever buy stuff at sales if I can. Some stuff I buy new, but most of the stuff I try and get on the cheap if I can. Anyway, this is about it's an alternate what-if scenario where in the Agents of Dune box set, House Nagara takes over the Arrakis spice operations. The Emperor has ordered them in instead of the Atreides. So you basically play through more or less the book, but play it differently. There's different aspects to this adventure, this campaign, to what you'll see in the book, and there's a lot more that's going on, a lot more politics, a lot more stuff involved, and it's quite different from the books, from the stuff that I've read in the PDF. Anyway, so this is an alternate scenario of what would happen if your players took over Atreides, the Atreides operation. And of course, the Atreides aren't in it, so basically the Harkonnens operation, I should say. So in here it says it's an epic 172-page adventure, which can be run on its own or as a continuation of the Agents of Dune box set. Players are renowned House Nagara, or create a new house of your own to tame Arrakis. Over the campaign's 9 explosive chapters, your characters will seek out the elusive Fremen to gain their trust and allegiance if you can navigate their mysterious customs and rituals. Engage in exciting space battles on behalf of the mysterious guild, taking on lethal pirates in a void between worlds. Visit the deadly House Harkonnen on the industrial hellscape of Giedi Prime, where poison and treachery lie behind every corner. Mine spice on Arrakis to quench the insatiable need of the Imperium, even though it can never be enough to satisfy the hunger of the known universe. Discover the wisdom of the secret of Bene Gesserit. If you can pass their deadly tests and prove yourself worthy of the Sisterhood's trust. Politic on Kaitain against the Emperor and the Landsraad Council, where you might play one side against another, if you have the cunning and skill for such deceit in the ultimate game. Travel from Arrakis across the Imperium to seek new allies, resources, and favours that might tip the balance of power in the universe. The wealth of Arrakis may be yours, but you're going to have to fight to keep it. Every choice you make will determine the future of your house, for good or ill. Will you fall to ruin on the sands of Arrakis? Or are you strong enough to survive and become true Masters of Dune? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, book that's dedicated to Frank Herbert. Yeah, Frank Herbert. All right, who wrote Dune, of course. All right, so that's a bit about the campaign itself. So let's open it up. All right, okay. Rock on, here we go. Let's open this up and have a look. As with all Modifius books, very nicely put together. Good, nice thick pages. It's pretty classy looking. There are 9 chapters. And there are 3 acts in every one of these adventures. So that is like 27 acts. And this is like a non-linear type story. Once again, they have these 2-page spreads leading off every chapter, which is wonderful. I love that. Modifius actually pinched that. I'm pretty sure they did. They pinched it from Free League, who has done this so successfully at the start of all their rule books in each of their rulebook chapters. What is this book? Yeah, we already know about that. We talked about it. Do I need other books? You need the core rule book, and you don't have to have the Agents of Dune book. You can also play using the rules from Wormsign, the free quick start guide available at Modifius. So you don't even have to have the Dune book. You can just play with that. All right. Story so far. House Corono has entrusted the feudal right to oversee Arrakis to the player character's house to appease the major houses, concerned as they are by the way House Harkonnen has managed spice production. The Coronos believe the player character's house is small enough to control. As they are concerned, the Harkonnens might be growing powerful enough to challenge them. Thus, the Harkonnens must learn a lesson in humility. Additionally, player character's house has angered the Emperor somehow. The exact reason becomes clear later in the adventure. Whatever the cause, the Emperor plans to take some form of petty revenge upon the player character's house as well, using the Harkonnens to do their dirty work. Anyway, so this story basically continues it, and you still House Nagara. However, you can choose a different house and work through the adventure with a different house, or the campaign. I should call it a campaign. It's not really an adventure. It's a series of adventures. It also talks about scaling down, which they also talked about in the previous Agents of Dune book as well. So you can play the adventures on a smaller sort of scale, just scale it back a bit. There's once again, here we go. These are all different adventures. So it's nice little things. So you basically start off with Sands of Arrakis, Giedi Prime, Emperor, the Attack, the Fremen, the Great Houses, the Bene Gesserit, the Guild, the Crucible. But all of these adventures, apparently, there's no formal progression of scenes. It might be as it might be in a standard campaign. Instead, the players have several options at the start, and it's up to them which direction they take, and then you just pick and choose which ones you go through as you go. And then you can introduce bits, as they make alliances or break alliances along the way. You have a whole bunch of influence indices. Now, the house in Dune that the characters belong to, the house is like a player character. You play it like a character, and you basically want to gain support, and you want to build up honor and, support from various different things. And this is the indices that you can get to. And this all plays a part in the game and how you affect your interactions with the other NPCs and other houses. So it's all very interesting, and it allows you to your characters to make whatever decisions they want, and to run their house any way they want. So if they want to run a really ruthless house, obviously their ruthlessness index is going to go up, but that might affect maybe their trust, or it might affect their support in various areas, and so on and so forth. So if you want to be ruthless like the Harkonnens, you can do that. You've also got wealth that you can spend here, spice harvesting stuff, whether you're stockpiling, exceeding targets, all that sort of stuff. And obviously this is going to help to determine how much the Emperor is going to be happy with you, and the other houses, and so on and so forth. All right, so I'm not going to go through every single thing and spoil this for people who want to play it, but I'm going to give you a bit of an overview of what's happening, so you can just have a bit of a look. Once again, you don't have to use Agents of Dune as the intro to this, but it's probably nice if you do, because it sort of continues it and adds another 3 adventures. So that'll be 30 adventures total if you use Agents of Dune as well. The Shifting Sands. Okay, this is chapter 1. 3 agents of House Nagara are lost investigating Fremen raids, but sometime later one of them is found alive and well in the hands of the Harkonnens. She remembers nothing of her investigation. Although the Harkonnens are happy to return her, the player characters would be right to worry the Harkonnens might have done to her. Investigations turn up nothing, but this may only make the player characters more suspicious. After all, the Harkonnens are cunning. It would not make such manipulations obvious. Alrighty. Raided by the Fremen. I'm going to go through this. I'm not going to spoil stuff. Here's for dinner parties. Blah, 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 blah. I'll get to Nagara. She's obviously a character. So I'm not going to spoil it, though. Into the passage. Whatever that is. Okay. I suppose you're talking to Fremen at that point. Giedi Prime. So at some point, your characters may choose to go off to Giedi Prime and do stuff. In this chapter, player characters make allies of convenience in House Vernius and travel to the Harkonnen homeworld of Giedi Prime in an effort to uncover the machinations of House Harkonnen and possibly find a legal basis for a declaration of Khanli. Khanli is when you can war on another house with assassins and stuff, and you have to do it all legally. You can't do it illegally, otherwise the other houses will gang up on you. Okay, and this is ambassadors and proposals and stuff. Now, I had to read through these on the PDF, because you get a copy of the PDFs free with Modiphius books when you buy them, which is fantastic, and I wish other companies would do that. There are a lot of other companies that do, like Free League does that. And I can't think of any others off the top of my head, but the other companies do it. Wizards of the Coast does not. And I think with companies like Paizo, you've got to pay separately for the PDF, which is a bit annoying, but that's life. So when you buy the book, you get little codes and you get the PDFs downloadable. As long as you buy it from the actual publisher. If you buy it on, say, Amazon, you're not going to get the little PDF with it. Okay, this is a bit of dueling in here, assassins and stuff. But obviously there's a lot of stuff that happens on Giedi Prime. Okay, and then there's a bit with the Emperor. This is where you head off. So House Nagara travels to Khotane to give their first report on Arrakis to the Chone Board of Directors and the Emperor. Regular in-person meetings are infrequent, but Shaddam IV, he's the Emperor, by the way, uses the recent changes in Arrakis governorship to strong-arm the directors into arriving in person. He intends to redeem himself after his failure during the Great Spice War by forcing a vote related to spice stockpiling, which he believes will pit the allies of House Harkonnen against House Nagara. Why does the Emperor want House Nagara eliminated? House Nagara was a blood tie to House Corono through a bastard relation. Oh, look at that! So a bastard relationship. Okay, we're not going to get into all that stuff, but there's some pretty fancy things going on in here. You better not let your players watch this video because I've just spoiled it, which I said I wasn't going to do. God damn it. Now I'm going to have to cut that bit out. So when you're on Kaitan, there's a whole bunch of things that you do. You meet with a whole bunch of people, a lot of politics. The attack. This would be... For some time, the House Harkonnen has sought to remove House Nagara from Arrakis so they can resume control. If Nagara gains too many enemies, or no longer has a reputation for strength, the Harkonnens try to take Arrakis back by force. Aha. Okay, so there you go. So Arrakis moves in. I mean, Harkonnens move into Arrakis. Oh, dear, dear. I'll still these breakouts. So there's a whole lot of stuff in here. Now, one of the good things about Dune is not only are you playing the house itself, but you're playing individuals who are important to the house, so individual PCs. But when you drill down to the lowest levels, you can actually have like underlings who go out and do stuff as well. They're not actually called underlings in the game. I can't remember what they're called, but they're basically dudes who can go and act on your behalf. So you'll play them as characters rather than your main characters, because obviously in certain circumstances, your main characters aren't going to jump into the thick of things every single time. So it's good that you've got all these different levels that the game works on. This is on the Fremen, so if you want to go out and make friends with the Fremen, blah, blah, blah. If you don't want to make friends with the Fremen, you have to have a good impression on the Fremen, all that sort of stuff. So you go out and spend some time in one of their sitches, and you learn all about them. This one's Sitch Tau. Yep. And you go and do stuff, and you can become either part of the Fremen tribe, or you can not. The great houses, this is where you want to basically make some alliances with the various great houses. And all of this stuff doesn't have to happen in a strict linear sequence. You can decide based on the events of what your PCs, what your players are doing, and so you can move things around and you can decide. Now, this means there's going to be a fair bit of bookkeeping and upkeep by the GM. So that means that it's probably better for an experienced GM. If you're a brand new GM, this looks probably going to be a little bit confusing, because it's going to be saying to you, well, if you want to do this, how about you introduce 50 million of these NPCs, because there's a lot of NPCs in this book, by the way. So you've got a lot of different characters you've got to play. So yeah, it's just, I think it's probably not for beginner GMs, but you know, whatever. It's up to you. You make the call yourself. If you want to play this complex adventure, you can do it. This complex campaign. The Bene Gesserit. The player characters in their house are about to be tested by the Bene Gesserit. The Sisterhood wants to know more about this new house and understand how it might react to the politics of the Imperium. For the Bene Gesserit, the best way to know something is to see what actions it takes when put under pressure. So the manipulations of the Bene Gesserit are all part of this chapter here. And they're testing you as a house to find out whether or not you're worthy of support or not. Okay, like I said, I don't want to spoil too much. I've spoiled enough already. All right, the Spacing Guild. Alrighty. An opportunity for the player characters to interact directly with Spacing Guild. Of importance to the Guild is the availability of the spice, and any disruption to their supply concerns them greatly. At this stage of the campaign, House Nagara holds its fief on Arrakis, and they have potentially come under direct attack by the Harkonnens. The adventure can easily be inserted into the campaign whether the spice production index is at 8+, indicating near peak efficiency, or it is 2 or lower, indicating their entire operation is in dire straits. So see, there's various different times, and it'll give you suggestions and hints as to where these adventures should fit inside in the campaign, but really it's up to you and up to the decisions of those players. We have here also, what do we got? Yeah, this is Race Against Time, Expect to Analyze. Yeah, that's pretty good. Move on. Hunting the pirates. Oh, this is hunting down the space pirates and having a bit of a fight with them. Mercenary base, yeah, attacking there. The Crucible. Okay, and this is with House Nagara granted control over spice production on Arrakis at the beginning of the Ages of Dune and cementing it at the end of the campaign. The player characters have suffered much and have had to endure mightily to make it this far. This chapter pits the player characters House Nagara directly against the most deadly and implacable enemy within the Landsraad they could dare to face, House Harkonnen. Many prior threads are brought back to be resolved. Okay, so you're going off to face the vote of the Landsraad and face House Harkonnen, and it tells you where your indices end up and you know what sort of support you're going to get and so on and so forth from there. Alrighty, that's pretty cool. Alright, and there we go. And that sort of rounds out the campaign. So I assume that in the end, basically, you basically you either end up with running the spice really well and you know, controlling Dune and all that sort of stuff, or you get trounced by the Harkonnens and voted out by the Landstrad and the other political houses. So it's all up to you guys. That is Dune, Masters of Dune, the campaign book. It looks pretty good. It is a bit complicated, so I would suggest that if you're a beginning GM playing Dune, probably start off with some of the smaller adventures first before you take on this campaign, because it's pretty big, pretty involved, and you'll need to move a lot of stuff around, play lots of different NPCs, and yeah, there's lots to do in it. But yeah, well worth the purchase. There you go.